Hey, welcome to Pastimes at 80's High. Got another good one for everyone today. We are going to do lyrics. Now, these are song lyrics that, they can go quite deep. They can be simply just what is meaningful to us. And we're going to take different routes through this down the line because I feel like this could wind up being a series. But anyway, today I have Donald. Hello.
Eight, how you doing?
Good, ISOL. Kevin?
ISOL.
Brother Mark.
I'm doing really well today. How's it going?
Good, man, good. And I am AJ. So, Donnie, you're going to have the honors today, and we're just going to, without further ado, just kick right into it if you might.
Cool. Yeah, so for me, this was kind of a challenging topic because my wife and I were discussing how I'm not a lyric person. Like, I'm a melody person. When I listen to songs, I hear lyrics as melody, more musical than I can't just, whether it's my hearing, I have tinnitus, blah, 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 I can't hear the words, right? So I struggle. And I remember a roommate in Berkeley kind of making fun of me because I would always just like mumble words because I didn't know what they were or whatever.
Sure.
So... And there was also a really funny skit on, I think it was BLM, which I don't even think is around anymore. This is way back. But they did a skit that was like, songs you can't forget, words you can't remember. And it was like, feelings, nothing more than feelings. Feelings I have, dee-dee-dee-doo-dee.
Exactly.
They would just hum it and stuff. So my first one, I'm going to do a customer service to the public out there on one of the classic misinterpreted lines, and it's Blinded by the Light, which was written by Bruce Springsteen, but the famous version was Manfred Mann's Earth Band. And everyone thinks, I was blinded by the light, ripped off like a douche.
Oh, yeah.
Which is not the correct. So the lyrics that Manfred Mann's Earth Band did was blinded by the light, revved up like a deuce.
Yes.
Another runner in the night.
Blinded by the light, wrapped up like a deuce, another runner in the night. Blinded by the light, wrapped up like
That is correct.
And Bruce Springsteen's was cut loose like a deuce, another runner in the night.
Not
the deuce,
wrapped up like a douche.
Right. And I guess Springsteen actually got a chuckle when he heard it because everyone thinks it sounds like douche.
Oh, yeah, big time.
And ripped off and it's revved up because the deuce, I believe, is a reference to a 1932 Ford that is commonly made into a hot rod.
Yes.
And, revved up like a deuce. And, going back to, and deuce, and I'm sorry, I'm talking a little bit, but I'll
go
calm
for
down
it,
on my other ones. Gene Simmons for deuce,
Mm-hmm.
your man is working hard. He's worth a deuce.
Yes.
Yes, right.
And I was like, what does he mean by that? And he just liked the word. He didn't even have any meaning behind it.
I know, and they put
word.
so many different meanings into it. It's like
Yeah,
a second chance. So to speak.
Your man's working hard. He's worth a blowy and a.
I always took it in the Kiss song as he's worth a deuce and number two. He's worth a shit. The guy's worth a shit, right? He's worth a deuce.
Yeah, everyone has theirs.
Hope I didn't
Everyone
steal
has
anybody's
theirs.
with that one, but I just like to tie in the deuce line. But
One lyric I saw. Sorry to interrupt. Your man is working hard. I've seen. Old Jim is working hard too. So
Yep.
old
nice.
Jim instead of your man.
Right.
Oh yeah, he's kicked that in live too, for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
We wanted to kind of say that, for all of us, finding the correct lyrics is very difficult. And if we happen to wrongly portray a lyrics, it's because, we're at the mercy of what's out there online. And
don't crucify us.
Yeah.
It's not an exact science, no matter how you slice it. Even if you were in the recording studio, you still might not have it.
Exact.
Speaking of Gene Simmons, watch him sing I Love It Loud once in a while. He never gets the words right. All right, Kev. So we are heading
all right.
off
I just
you.
want to say, Donnie, I think it's funny that you're talking about not being a lyrics guy because while we go into the lyrics show, I just saw an interview with Stuart Copeland, the drummer from the Police, and he says the exact same thing. He says, I don't even know the lyrics to our songs. Right. He says, that's not what I'm listening to.
Yeah.
As a drummer, he's tuned into completely other things. So you are not alone in being a musician that doesn't know the words.
Right.
And I the Ellis song that I wrote, I had to look at the lyrics to remember my own song. So
yeah, right. I'm sure that's pretty common too, especially some of the people that I see that are pushing their 70s and 80s. I mean, it's hard to remember, your name at that point.
No shit, right?
Never mind what you wrote 40 years ago. But so I'm going to jump right in with the lyrics that I think kind of embody everybody here and everybody that's listening, something that we all relate to and kind of feel pretty deeply, and that's invisible airways crackle with life, bright antennas bristle with the energy, emotional feedback on a timeless wavelength, bearing a gift beyond price, almost free.
Invisible airwaves crackle with life, bright antenna bristle with the energy, emotional feedback on a timeless wavelength, bearing a gift beyond price, almost free.
Of course, Spirit of Radio by Rush, which is, thinking about those lyrics today, and I know I got a little wordy with that one, but
I'm going there too, though.
You had to close it
I know,
in.
me too.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I mean, I could have gone into all this machinery making modern music and all that, but I think that's something that we miss with whether it's Spotify, or nothing against Spotify because we're on there, but whether it's a streaming service, either audio or video, there's something missing from, when we all tuned into Happy Days one night, or when you heard a song on the radio. If you were driving to school, you all listened to the same radio station and you knew that you heard Spirit of Radio at 7:42, and there was a communal thing, and that's what I think a lot of that song is about, was that how great the music is and what great feelings it gives us still, but we have lost a little bit of that we're all connected by it because we're not listening on the same services and the same times and in that unison that we used to have.
Right.
Simply
one of my favorite Rush songs. Probably my favorite Rush song.
Yeah.
And I'm not a huge Rush guy, but I can only assume that the lyricist Neil Peart pretty much is responsible for most of them, and he was fucking incredible.
Yeah, for a drummer to be
everything. A
lyricist like that is pretty rare, I believe.
Yeah, it definitely is. Great pick, Kev. All right, brother, off to you. Let's see if we can't get some repeats here.
All right, well, my list is going to be lyrics that certainly mean a lot to me. Some of them actually choke me up.
Yes.
In some ways, but I'm going to start off with some lyrics from Ted Nugent, Great White Buffalo.
That a boy?
Well, the Indians needed food and skins for a roof. Only took what he needed. Millions of buffalo were the proof.
Yes.
But then came the white man with his thick and empty head. He couldn't see past the billfold. He wanted all the buffalo
dead.
I mean, to me, this song is emotional because, listen to that lyric. Millions of buffalo were the proof.
Oh, yeah.
They did not go out and exploit the herd. They took what they needed, which is basically what the hunting season's about. I mean, the fish and game regulates the herd, the count and everything. But then you have the white man that come over and they exploit everything.
Yes.
Exactly. I don't know if this is because they're trying to kill off the Indians' food source. I don't know.
They're using the animals for things more so than they need, is my point. They're killing them off just for greediness. Let's put it that way.
Exactly.
Yeah. What a great, that whole song is just friggin' incredible.
That's from the Amboy Dukes, just so y'all know.
So this one's to me, and I must admit, we have just realized that I have broken the law. We're supposed to be 1999 or prior, everyone, and this is post that, and I do apologize. My bad. But this is a band, Blue October, and the song is called Hate Me. And for me, I mean, the opening lyrics on this are so deep in it, but I didn't go with that. I went with this. Oh, God, I don't want to get emotional. I simply went with hate me today, hate me tomorrow, hate me for all the things I didn't do for you.
Hate me today. Hate me tomorrow. Hate me for all the things I didn't do for you.
The reason I get emotional with this is it makes me think of my mom, you know, being a shitty teenager and how awful I was. I didn't treat her as the way I would have liked to back then. That's what I think about. Fucking hate me for what I didn't do for you.
You know, AJ, I think we all feel that way. You know what I mean? And that's part of being a teenager is learning those things so that you don't continue the process.
Oh,
and propagate it again. And then to make things right, we have teenagers that do shitty stuff to us.
All right.
Right?
Hey, oh,
So
yeah.
It's the circle of life.
It is a circle of life. And I know I am forgiven, and I talk to my
You
mom
are.
about this over and over, but not about the song. But you know what I mean.
AJ, you think you had to bring this song up? I don't give a rat's ass that it was off the
It was so
perimeters.
great. But that opening line with the, you know, cockroaches dropping little reels of tape in the bed, making a porno feel like home, and just, it's fucking very, very deep.
My friend Gino turned me onto that song. That I'm the one who told you about it, and you called up, and you really hit you hard.
Oh,
so.
yeah. All right. So that's to you, Dungo.
All right. In keeping with the emotion, and this one was one my father loved, and every father loves and regrets and hates because it's got profound truth to it, is and as I hung up the phone, it occurred to me he'd grown up just like me. My boy
yes.
was just like me. And that's Cats in the Cradle, Harry Chapin. You know, just a song about, you know, when you're a young dad, you're busy, you're working, you got to do work, and, you know, your kid wants to play and you don't have time. And then, you know, you kind of put them off. And then before you know it, they grow up, and then you want to see them and they're doing the same thing. It's life. You know, it just mirrors life.
Absolutely.
And, you know, it's been used in movies and references quite a bit.
Wow.
Donnie, that song makes me very emotional. I might add in that one, but
Yeah.
I can't
great
get
song.
through the song without tearing up a wee bit, you know.
Yeah.
Amen.
I got a few of those.
That's what makes it great, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get a few a bit opposite than that, but you know, like I said, meaning doesn't necessarily have to be emotion in heartbreaking way, or it can go multiple ways, you know. Awesome. So do you, Kev?
All right. So I'm going to illustrate that point right here. And you are absolutely right. It doesn't have to be emotional, although a lot of them are. And this one just kind of hit me right in where I was at the time. And it's called Paper Thin by one of my favorite songwriters, John Hyatt. And the line is, I was going to get up off of that bar stool just as soon as I could figure it out.
I was gonna get up off that bar stool just as soon as I could figure it out.
It kind of really describes a pretty good decade of my life. You know, managing
remember
a
that
gin mill
decade?
and no, I don't. But managing a gin mill where celebration and partying was what we did for a living. You know, it was not other people went to jobs and then and came in to kick off some steam, and we just kind of partied for a better part of a decade.
That
and,
was your job.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
did all
Yeah.
of it. So,
Oh.
but that song always and the house band used to play that song, and it was just like there's a couple other lines. I was just mixing up some chemicals, just some great lines in the song that just really hit. But that one always struck me. I
Yeah.
was gonna get up off of that bar stool just as soon as I could figure it out.
There's a guy I was in the Navy with who was a bartender, and he ended up down in Key West, and he's, you know, it's amazing. He said it was amazing, but he got sucked into like the
Oh, wow.
party scene after life, and he had to escape it because
Yeah, you
it was
got
just
it.
too much. Yeah.
Well, just to continue a little bit to you, Kev, your decade there continued into the next decade
Yes, it
for a
did.
brief
Yes, it
time.
It was a decade and a half.
I
what
know
happened?
because
Yeah.
I was the one serving him.
Oh,
Kevin and I would have
Yeah.
an ongoing battle of if one of us worked the day shift and finished at 4 p.m. So yeah, we're gonna have one and get out of here. I'm gonna have one and get out of here, and then
See
we'd
you
both
last
be
call.
there till last call. Yeah, exactly.
Not to give too much away, but I can still remember that with you, I could tell where you were on the spectrum by how far your head was tilted back and how closed your eyes were.
All right, brother, that's to you.
all right. Well, this is from a female folk singer. Her name is Jewel. Her last name, I believe, is Kitchener. The song is Pieces of You, back from 1995, 96. You can change the word after the first verse to anything you want it to be, but you say that he's a Jew.
No singing.
He can sing.
You say that he's a Jew as if being born were a sin.
You say he's a Jew as though being born were a sin.
Which tells me, very simple, nobody can help who they are when they're born. They're born whoever they are. And it's just very simple. Very simple. Either you treat me nice or you do not treat me nice. If you're nice to me, I will like you. I don't care what your background is or anything, but it's just that line, as if being born were a sin, has always spoken to me.
Yes, absolutely.
You know-
Because there's a lot of people that feel that way, that being born was a sin by the way, life has treated them and so forth. But
No, I get it, but my point is, a lot of people just get it in their head that a certain group of people are not good.
oh, of course. I mean, that's the way of the world, Mark. Yeah, but so deep. Gotcha.
It is deep, but I mean, my point is, you guys like people that are nice to you, right?
That's my point.
Okay,
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
so, but that always spoke to me.
Oh, good.
That line. I mean, of course, this is 30 years ago. I did carpool with a girl for a while, my last year at the state, and she turned me on to Jewel. And
She has come
kind
up
of-
in other casts too. This girl
Yes,
you
and-
carpooled
this-
with.
oh yeah. Well, she kind of maybe she wanted a carpool not to save fuel, but she didn't get her wish. But oh well. I mean, there's a lot of there's so many women out there that didn't get their wish. Okay, so I'll
Awesome.
take it on to you for your next pick.
All right. So this is one for me that is not emotionally hitting, but just incredible lyrics in my eye. And I do have to read because I'm going blank. I mean, normally I could just recite this. Uncovering things that were sacred, manifest on this earth. Conceived in the eye of a secret, and they scattered the afterbirth. Mr. Crowley, Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
I mean, I didn't look up any notes today because I was doing most of this off my head this week. It's either Lee Kerslake or Bob Daisley, of course, writing these lyrics. And Donnie, something you were talking about earlier about how you went more to melody instead of lyric. Ozzy was the master of that. Maybe he's not the greatest singer on the planet, just a very unique voice, but obviously not a vocalist. But man, did he bring friggin' melody to his vocals. His vocals always had that. Those words to me were just such great writing. And obviously it's about Mr. Crowley.
Alistair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just think of that. Manifest on this earth, and then just they scattered the afterbirth to hide this, and just, I don't know, it's deep to me. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, Crowley was
Creates
trying to
some
bring
images.
literally trying to bring Satan, the Antichrist, to life.
Right.
Some people might say that he succeeded, but we're not going to get into that
Right.
because the guy's out there and you can look him up. But anyway, that it's pretty powerful.
Yes, indeed.
For sure.
Love it. Okay, Donald.
All right. So keeping in kind of a religious theme, I swear there ain't no heaven, but I pray there ain't no hell. Favorite lines. So I always remember that, but it's kind of true. Like a lot of people out there who may not be religious, but obviously are fearful if it is,
If it's
if what
true,
they say
yes.
is true.
It's very such a great
Right.
line because
Yeah.
there's so many
Yeah.
people on that, wavelength that would think that way.
Yeah.
It's
Who's
scary.
the artist, Donnie, again?
Blood, sweat, and tears.
Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
What was it?
Right.
I'm drawing a blank on the name of the song.
And when I die.
And When I Die.
Sorry.
Right?
Yeah.
No worries. Yeah, definitely one of those, because I mean that's what faith is. You know what I mean? And I don't care how faithful a person is, it wavers at times.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
you
No, you're
sometimes you
absolutely
question.
right,
It just happens. So yeah, that definitely embodies that.
Yeah.
And a great flipping song as well.
Great song.
Speaking of faithful, well, we'll get to it later. Great pick, though, Donald. Such a great line. I mean, so true. Great pick, Don. So do you, Kev.
All right. So I'm going to mix it up a little bit here and do something a little different because this is not a spoken line in the song. It's not a spoken lyric exactly, but it's one that always just made me like physically wince. And that is the ending of Young Lust from Pink Floyd on The Wall. And as the song's fading out, you can hear him. He's trying to call his wife from the United States. Yep. And the phone keeps hanging up. And the operator says something so innocent, but it just rips your heart out. She says, it's a man that keeps answering.
Hello. Yes, I got a call from Mr. Floyd. From Mr. Floyd, will you accept the charge from the United States? No, he's hung up. Is this your residence? I wonder why he hung up. Is there supposed to be someone else there besides your wife there to answer? Hello? This is United States calling. Are we reaching? He keeps hanging up. And it's a man answering.
I mean, she's
What a
literally
kick
just
in the
confirmed
balls.
his suspicion that his wife is banging somebody else. I'm sorry, is there someone else there besides your wife, sir, to answer?
Oh.
And it's just like, it hurts. It
Oh,
literally
yeah.
hurts when you hear it the first time.
I-
So
How come I
That-
never heard that part at the end of the?
You got to
Oh, yeah,
finish
the
it
United
out.
States trying to reach.
This is the United States calling.
Yes.
yeah,
Are we reaching?
And then you get at the end, like the beep.
yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah, the
Great call,
British
Kev. I never thought
busy
about
signal.
going, into those little tidbits of songs, but the first pick tonight, the Blue October one I was talking about, kind of starts out with an answering machine call. But
Oh, nice.
kind of bookends. But
Yeah.
The Wall, Kev, I used to fall asleep to that every night. I'm not a Pink Floyd fan in the least, but I love that album. It's so weird. I don't know why I never
That's
moved
funny you
beyond
say that, because
wall.
for a
you know?
number of years in my life, we talked about the rack system that we had in the
Yeah.
80s. That was all that. I had a Fisher rack system, and it had 15-inch subwoofers, and they were massive speakers. And I'd lay on the floor. I'd sleep on the floor on a mattress and have those speakers on either side and put on Pink Floyd, The Wall, and listen to that. That's how I'd go to sleep. Might explain a few things.
That was a
in my-
very obscure record. A lot of people haven't even heard of it. So
Yeah, not quite as big as Ummagumma or Adam Hart Mother.
Awesome pick, though. That's a great call, Kev. No pun intended.
Oh,
All right.
oh.
All right, Mark, you're up.
I've been
You're right.
damned, I've been cursed, I've been guilty and abused. Okay, that is Kiss, not for the
Oh, you're
Innocent.
not going to go to the next one?
I spit the hangman in his face and hung him in his noose.
That a boy.
And anyone who's ever been a scapegoat kind of knows what this means. I've been guilty, meaning judged guilty without being proven guilty.
Yes.
And then I never felt guilty. But seriously, like when I worked at the state, there was 4 of us. I was the lowest labor grade. And of course, I'd get blamed for everything. And other times in my life, I'm not going to get deep into my childhood and all these other areas of my life. I mean, from the time I heard this song, these lyrics really reached me. I get angry. This is an angry song, and I love this anger.
Yes. It's a great song, too. I mean, we, as Mark would say, ad nauseum, talked about this on Preachers of the Night, but that's probably the greatest Gene Simmons song of all time.
And I could have taken lyrics from this entire album and had my freaking 7 picks.
Right? Absolutely. All right. So here's another one that I might get emotional for a different reason. All right. And this is, well, I was there and I saw what you did. I saw it with my own 2 eyes. So you can wipe off that grin. I know where you've been. It's all been a pack of lies. We were talking about Faithful earlier. And, this brings me to so many different aspects in my life. I mean, whether it was a woman, whether it was a friend that was stabbing me in the back, it always fucking hit me. And ironically, I was actually listening to this for some reason the other night before we were even discussing the lyrics. I mean, Phil Collins, obviously, In the Air Tonight. An incredible line to me. Yep.
Great song.
And I could have taken so many of his lyrics too. They really hit me in the heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. So that's off to you, Dongo.
All right. So I'll stick with the there's a lot of themes. We're always going to have a lot of themes, and there's always religion and love and remorse and all that kind of stuff. But I'll stick with the Pink Floyd, because they were masters of lyrics. And this one, I'll have to say I sang it a couple times with a friend's band, and I sang the lyric wrong. So I'm looking up, I'm like, oh shit, I've been singing that wrong for a long time. So this is another public service announcement.
Are you just
for
finding
those
this
that
out right now?
Struggle. Yeah, well, I found it out this morning, but so
This
did
could
you
be a Donnie
exchange-
Bunker moment.
Come on, I'll turn it on as soon as you give me the first few lines of the national anthem. Oh, shaken, you see, by the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed of DIC.
All right. So the lyric from Pink Floyd, and it's from Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here. Did you exchange a walk-on part in the war for a lead role in The Cage?
Did you exchange a walk-on part in the war for a lead role in a cage?
Yeah, it's great. And so I've been singing it. Did you exchange a walk on by in the wall and the leaves roll in the cage?
Close.
Whichever that means, but
A
you know,
little less meaningful.
right.
The leaves
You
are
know,
all in the cage.
He's also saying, you know, did you sacrifice your morals or you're fighting for, you know, justice or fighting for the little guy for just to become part of the machine kind of thing, you know, to just give in and, you know, be part of the problem, so to speak. But yeah, it was a profound lyric. But
It is a profound.
yeah.
Yeah, so much of what Waters wrote was about Syd Barrett, who was
Right.
just as they were becoming more, I hate to call them mainstream because I don't think Floyd was ever mainstream, but they went from being very experimental to, and he early on was like, let's get some black backup singers and saxophones.
And
they were
that's
like,
part of it.
and that's when they were like, okay, he's losing his shit. And then they made, you know,
Right.
Dark Side of the Moon and
Yep.
Wish You Were Here. But I
Right.
always took that as he was talking about Syd Barrett saying that, you know, a lead role in The Cage being, you know, locked up in the nuthatch kind of.
Right.
I believe that is it too. Like they were trading their, you know, like you said, they were experimental to going more mainstream, but also how Sid had kind of a, you know, too much LSD might have been, you know, put off to the insane asylum kind of thing. And, you know, he put himself in a cage kind of thing. So yeah, there's a lot of interesting things with that.
Awesome. That's to you then, Kev.
All right. Well, this one is just, he's one of those guys that probably could have been on my list multiple times just because there's some people that just, I don't know, they kind of live in that realm where they can just maybe not effortlessly, but quite easily write lyrics that just, you know, rip your heart out and get to the soul of it. And it's one of those songs that, you know, we talk about songs that we get burnt out on, fatigue and all that, but I've never gotten fatigued from this one. And it's Peter Gabriel's In Your Eyes. And when he says, the light, the heat, I am complete. I see the doorway to 1,000 churches, the resolution of all the fruitless searches. I see the light and the heat. I want to be that complete in your eyes.
In your eyes, the light, the heat. I am complete. See the doorway. 1,000 churches. The resolution of all the fruitless searches. Oh, I see the light and the heat. Oh, I wanna be that complete. I wanna touch the light, the heat I see in your
And that just like, I don't know, with especially with the music with it and the backup singers singing In Your Eyes after every lyric, after every line, it's like that's a fucking love song, man.
That's an
That's-
incredible song.
Yeah.
That's like, dude, that's
Right.
he
Right.
nails it.
Yeah.
He
Right.
nails it.
And the classic ending to Say Anything, you know, the movie.
Exactly.
It's
Right.
just, like they had pondered which song to use for that, and I can't remember what was some of the other picks,
Choices.
but then they ended up with that one, and it was
There were other
perfect.
ones that would not have
Yeah.
been.
I saw you do that at the
Yeah.
beginning, Donald.
Yeah,
Yes.
I picked up
Yeah,
on
It's
exactly.
iconic.
Exactly.
Touchdown.
Yeah.
Which always reminds me of, I don't want to sell anything that's bought. I don't want to buy anything that's sold. I don't want to sell anything that's bought or sold or buy anything that's sold or bought.
Right.
when her father asked him what he wants to do.
Yes.
It's just such a great, I mean, it embodies what our mind was at that time. I'm not gonna work for the man.
I don't want to sell anything, buy anything, or process anything as a career. I don't want to sell anything bought or processed, or buy anything sold or processed, or process anything sold, bought, or processed, or repair anything sold, bought, or processed. You know, as a career, I don't want to do that. So my father's in the Army. He wants me to join, but I can't work for that corporation. So what I've been doing lately is kickboxing.
I'm gonna
Right.
do what I want to do. I'm not gonna buy or sell things.
Good song. All right, Mark. That is to you.
Okay. Why must you be such an angry young man? when your future looks quite bright to me.
Mhm.
And how can it be such a sinister plan that you hide such a lamb, such a caring young man?
Keep going.
You're fooling yourself if you don't believe it.
You're killing yourself and you don't believe it.
Get up, get back on your feet. You're the one they can't beat, and you know it. Yeah, come on, let's see what you got. Just take your best shot and go low and whoa.
Dick Fooling Yourself, also known as the Angry Young
The
Man.
Angry Young Man.
And
Oh, yes, I know the
this
song.
song reaches me, and this is how I chose to go down this lane tonight or today or whatever it is. You know, the line that really gets me is that could hide such a lamb, such a caring young man.
Mhm.
I was so bitter after, you always talk about Hinsdale, AJ, when I was sent to Guilford.
I know.
I lost. I mean, I was dead pretty much. And, I was so angry. Nobody knew the real me. Nobody could know me. And And
it
I
hits
remember,
home, brother.
What's that?
It hits home. I get it.
Yep.
Yeah.
When I got a little bit older, I mean, you remember Artie Adler? That
Of
used to live with
course.
John's son. Great guy. Loved him. Absolutely adored him. But he used to say, "You got the world by the balls, Mark." And I think that's when I started coming out of it. And that's another meaning that this song said to me. But yeah, it killed a beautiful soul. I mean, I'm sorry to say I'm a beautiful soul, but I have to believe that about myself. And that's what the last two lines of that song mean to me.
Absolutely. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
And again, I think
and
that's-
heartfelt.
Yes, I think that's also I think everybody kind of goes through that as a young man, that you are forced to change and harden up and face the world. I think that's kind of
That's a good
becoming
point.
a man.
Yep.
So I think it's universal that we all go through some degree of that.
Yep.
But I mean, I remember listening to that song going, yeah,
Yeah.
yep, exactly.
And if you guys get a chance, look up Tommy Shaw is doing this song with I think it's pretty much a high school or maybe slightly older orchestra. Great. I mean, it's just
Orchestra? Is that what you said?
Okay, Marky Bunker.
One
Whatever
of my
the hell
favorite
the word
singers.
is.
Tommy Shaw, I love him. He's awesome.
Yeah. See, I mean, who was the other guy from Styx that did a lot of the songs? I think he ended up getting thrown out of the band because he took the band into the wrong direction. The guy with the mustache.
Dennis DeYoung.
Thank you.
Yeah, he was
going
the
down with
show tune kind of.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. He
Which
do
worked
Lady?
Yeah, it worked for some of it, I thought. But yeah, I
Yeah.
think he might have been, they wanted to go a little bit harder and he wanted to do, Phantom of the Opera or something. And
Basically, and he did what Kilroy and all that. He was going down concept
Yeah.
ideas and stuff. Yeah, I'm definitely a Tommy Shaw guy though.
what are you going to do if a guy in your band makes you do Mr. Roboto?
Exactly.
Right.
Come around, Mr. Roboto. Go. What is it?
So, just-
Domo.
Just
Domo
to jump,
arigato.
Domo arigato.
Mr. Roboto.
Thank you very
Domo.
much.
So we're off to me. Like I said, all of these emotions of these songs hit me in a different way. And this one is a fear, if I may. Very, very deep to me. Not one of my favorite songs from this band because I think that I could do this exercise with this band over and over and over. But my line, and I'm going to try, might have to sing it too, Mark, but
Hey,
that is
I told you I was in the Glee Club. Maybe you should join
darkness
the Glee Club
imprisoning
with us.
me. All that I see, absolute horror. I cannot live. I cannot die. Body my holding cell.
Darkness imprisoning me. All that I see, absolute horror. I cannot live, I cannot die. Trapped in myself, body my holding cell.
Oh, my hair's standing up on my arms right
Oh
now.
my God. I know,
Okay.
that song.
I mean, obviously, we know the song's about Johnny got his gun being in that circumstance. You know, it always makes like, I always think Helen Keller could at least walk. You know what I mean? This poor guy is just literally dead in a body. That is one of my biggest fears. This song has so many other deep lines, but just that one line, you know, body my holding cell. Hetfield is a damn good lyricist and one of the best in my eyes. You know, I mean, I didn't go, like I said, this exercise this week, I kind of just went, you know, right off the top. But if I were to really research a lot of these, the shit that I could come up with from that band, just incredible.
Exactly.
Choose the entire Injustice for All album. That's my lyric.
Exactly. You mean the last Metallica album?
The last Metallica album. Yes.
Yeah, and it's like, what mood are you in? Are you in an angry mood? You might think of lyrics that are
Most
like,
of the time, yes. Most of the time.
Or are you in a sad, depressed mood? Are you in a happy mood? You know, that's music. You know, it hits you for memories too.
Beautiful way.
Yeah.
Off to you, Donald.
Cool. Again, I kind of went heavy on the folk side because singer-songwriters, that's their niche, right? They write beautiful songs, beautiful lyrics. It also had meaning to me because it was like my father would love these songs and would kind of play them with me and sing the lyrics with me. So these were songs that I did catch the lyrics on. And this one is a profound song. It's a beautiful song. I love it no matter who performs it. And a lot of people do perform it because it is one of those songs that's just beautiful, the melody and everything about it. So I've looked at life from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow it's life's illusions. I recall, I really don't know life at all.
I've looked at life from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow it's life's illusions. I recall, I really don't know life at all.
And it's Both Sides Now from Joni Mitchell.
Yeah.
Just one of those beautiful songs that has, you know, it's about perspective, you know, how you look at things when you're a kid and how you look at things when you're a young adult and how you look at things when you're kind of in your 50s and then how you look at things when you're getting older. And it's life's illusions and how you see it differently at different times in your life. And it's just a beautiful song.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool tune.
Yeah.
Perception.
Yeah.
Touching. Just how these all hit us. I think it's so great.
It's amazing.
The differences and just, it's awesome.
Go ahead, Mark.
No, something with Joni Mitchell. She did The Long Black Veil with Johnny Cash on. Johnny Cash actually had a variety show. What? It was a music show, actually.
Yeah.
And her voice is so beautiful on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a duet between Johnny and Joni. So
yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah.
I kind of prefer the band's version of that myself, but that is an awesome version as well.
Yep.
And my biggest cut from today, I'm very angered. But anyway.
What's that?
We'll get there. All right, Kevin, to you.
Yeah, and absolutely. I just wanted to reflect back to Donnie's pick too, is that, you know, some of those songs that we just get so used to hearing them that we forget sometimes how powerful those lyrics are.
Yes.
But on that note, I'm going to go with a guy that wrote some really powerful lyrics and was, I don't know, he could be on this list a million times. And I'm going with Bob Marley's Small Axe. And he says, I said you're working iniquity to achieve vanity.
I said you're working iniquity to achieve vanity.
And it's talking about people with power that are just serving themselves and taking from us little folk. It's about that kind of the injustice, I guess, and that's what small axe is. If you are the big tree, we are the small axe ready to cut you down. And that one always just kind of grabbed me and was like really embodied what that injustice feels like.
Yes. The hatchet, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Marley
I
was
need to know
an
that
amazing songwriter. Like amazing.
Yes. Yeah.
A revolutionary too. Like he was a revolutionary.
He
And-
certainly
yeah,
was.
yeah.
You see
Yeah.
the movie on him too, or
I have not. That was pretty recent. What, within the last 3 years or so, wasn't it?
yeah, the Bob Marley movie, right?
Yeah. I
It's a
wanted to see that
biopic.
because it looked really cool.
What country was
I don't
he
know.
from
Was this?
again?
He was
Jamaica.
Jamaican.
Jamaica,
Yeah.
man. Of course, it was Jamaica. No, it was a good movie.
And he
Really was.
I mean, still the whole story of him getting shot and then going to play and
Yeah.
being like, you know, there's, what do you say, Cav? You know the line probably. I just can't. He went up there to play a couple days after getting shot, and he was like, they're not stopping working. Why should I? Something like that.
Yeah.
It was just fucking
Yeah.
deep. It was awesome.
But that was, and I mean, you think about, like some of our artists here in the States are like really think more of themselves than they really are. But he really was a revolutionary. People really did respond to what he had to say.
Right.
And he understood the weight of his words, which is, pretty amazing. And, maybe not so much for the kid from Green Day who thinks he's
Oh no.
all that.
Oh no.
Oh God.
But
Yeah, well, yeah.
but Marley did have that weight, and he did understand what it was worth.
Awesome. Great
So,
pick.
yeah.
All right, brother, that is to you.
You, my friend, I will defend. And if we change, well, I love you. All right, start over. Okay, this is you, my friend, I will defend. And if we change, well, I love you anyway. From Alice in Chains, the end of No Excuses.
You, my friend, I will defend. And if we change, well, I love you anyway.
This lyric speaks to me in a lot of ways, in that, I mean, how many friends have you guys had that you're no longer in touch with?
Oh,
And
God.
it nothing really ever happened to cause the friendship to end, except for maybe distance.
Time.
I mean, I think of my former neighbor Anita when I think of this song. She was a pleasure to talk to and everything. And Dana, of course, he died at 40 years old, unfortunately. But I mean, Troy, my friend Troy, I haven't seen him for 20 years since he was here at my
And you
40th
guys were
birthday
tight.
party.
He was a fishing buddy, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Fishing and, we worked out together and everything. But you guys know what I'm saying, right?
Oh
I mean,
yeah. There's so many acquaintances in life that you might have been really close with for just a short period of time, but then because of time, distance, life, whatever, you just don't follow. You don't circle back, and it's sad. It's tragic in a
It
way,
is
but it's just
extremely
way-
sad.
Yeah.
The ones that I love the most though are those people that you can not see them for 20 years and then sit down and pick
Right.
up like
You're
like you
right
never,
back where you were.
Yeah, there was
missed a
never a
beat.
bad
Yeah.
thing between
Right.
you. There was never anything
Right.
negative. It's just your lives went in different directions. But when you see each other, you pick up the conversation
Yep.
right where it left
Yep.
off, and it's fantastic.
Great pick, Mark. And that's off to me, yes?
Yes.
All right. So this, like, as I know, I've been bouncing around the map here, but everything on my list has been kind of taking me to a different part or a different interest in my life. And the last thing I really am, if I'm being honest, I'm not a huge Rolling Stones fan. But this line has always hit home to me, and that's because I did a lot of reading back in the day about this subject. I rode a tank, held a general's rank, when the blitzkrieg raged and the bodies stank. I can never pronounce the guy's name, but I believe it's Elie Wiesel, wrote a book called Night about his time in the Holocaust, you know, going to the concentration camps with his father. Yeah, it's an incredible book. It's only like 120 pages, and I think I've read it over a dozen times. You know, it's that deep, so well written. I mean, he wound up being like the chairman for the Holocaust Memorial and all that. But just that line right there to be, I mean, obviously Jagger goes through like different time periods, you know, talking about Pilate and Jesus and all that, and just going through history. But this one just, you know, really, really hit me just to think about.
Are you talking about Sympathy for the Devil?
I am indeed.
Yes.
Okay. To be driving through fucking Germany or wherever at that point, Poland, that stench in the air and how god awful that must have been. And it hits me in a very, very deep way. So that's why I went with it. So to you, Dongo, let's lighten it up a little.
Yeah, I wish I could, but I'm not. I'm not going to do that. No, and it's a little bit kind of what we've been talking about. It's a lyric from a Bob Seger song, "Against the Wind."
Oh yeah,
and the lyric is, "I wish I didn't know now what I didn't know then."
Ah, what a great line.
Wish I didn't know now what I didn't know then.
I wish I knew now what I didn't know then. But he kind of twisted it and said, I wish I didn't know now what I didn't know then.
Yeah.
And that makes absolute fucking sense to
Way
me.
more sense than the
because when you start to learn things, you then become, you know, you can do this in politics, in life, in medicine, in anything. Like the more you know, it's like, oh shit. Then you know, like all the depressing things that go along with that, right? When you know more about politics, you realize all the corruption and all that kind of stuff. When you know more about medicine, when you hear a friend say something like, oh, I got this test result, and you're like, that means they have cancer. You know, you just know the shit, and it's like, fuck.
Yeah.
So, you know, I wish I was blissfully ignorant, like when I was 20 years old and didn't know shit, could hear things in the news and didn't give a shit about it and just wanted to chase girls. You know, that was it. That's all you want to do back then. Have fun and chase girls. But yeah, the more you know, the more it kind of sucks. You know, it's kind of a curse in a way. But
well, funny because AJ was just talking about Sympathy for the Devil, and now you're talking about this. And what was the apple?
Right.
The apple was knowledge.
Yes.
Right.
Knowledge is a burden.
What a great pick, Don. And there were a lot of lyrics, you know, when I was actually going through things that had that very aspect where they reversed, you know, the analogy of it and the wording, and it fucking makes it so cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Kev.
All right. Well, now this one's just kind of funny, and it's the only repeat I have, although I could have had many, but I'm going back to my boy John Hyatt. The line is, you can learn to live with love or without it, but there ain't no cure.
You can learn to live with love or without it, but there ain't no cure. It's just a slow
And ain't that the truth?
It sure as F is.
Ain't that the truth? You can figure out how to make it work with somebody, or you can stay solo.
That's it.
But there's no cure.
I believe, Kevin, that you and me may have taken the latter route.
Yes.
All right, Mark, that is to you, brother.
Okay, well, this is my walkout song when I was a professional wrestler in Manchester and the backyard wrestling.
Yes.
It's from Queensryche, Eyes of a Stranger. Is this all that's left of my life before me? Straight jacket memories, sedative highs.
Yeah, how do you do is about all she can say to you here because she caught a touch of laryngosis in the smoke.
No happy ending like they always promised. There's got to be something left for me. This song always reminded me of what it would be like to be in an institution.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying that I ever belonged in an institution, although the audience might disagree with me.
Yes.
But this just reminds me of being in an institution. I don't know if you guys ever had dreams about this happening to them. You wake up, you're sleeping, and all of a sudden you're locked up in an asylum. It always spoke to me for some reason. Straitjacket memories, sedative high.
Touching laryngosis in the smoke.
Sedative. Damn it! Sedative highs. All right. I don't know how the singer sang it. All right.
Oh,
Maybe
I-
that's
Jeff
why.
Tate.
Straitjacket
Yeah, that's
memories.
Thank
And
you.
That's
What a great song, and
what a great
great
pick
lyric.
and a great line. So we're to me, correct?
your next one. Yeah.
Because you're talking about, an asylum. Like I said, I have bounced around so much in my picks for different times of my life. We've all dealt with some of this, and you're talking about the insane asylum, Mark. And this is my first repeat, Kev. And when you said repeat, I thought you meant by an artist, right?
Oh, it
Same
was.
song.
I got nervous that it was like we had stole the pick or something.
Oh,
or
no,
stole
Oh,
the-
no. Just Kev-
I
Kev
was
had
saying that
said-
I used the same
Yeah.
artist twice.
Yes, and this is my first repeat
Gotcha.
doing just
Yeah.
that to me, and this is now I'm trying not to sing it here big time, but these words
It's hard not
always
to. Yeah.
really hit home. Manic depression befriends me. Hear his voice. Sanity now it's beyond me. There's no choice. And this is Ozzy Osbourne, Diary of a Madman. I probably could have taken 20 other, different things from this. Manic depression befriends me. And I have had that at times. So has half of America or more. That deep, deep sorrow and depression where you can't fucking snap out of anything. Kind of like when you slept with a girl you wish you didn't.
the double Wolverine.
And you stay in bed for 7 days because you can't get
'Cause you
up.
chewed off both arms, so you'll never drink again.
Exactly. But anyway, that will go to you, Donald.
So is this number one? Are we
This
at
is the number one.
Well,
It's
your last
pick.
my last pick? And I went with, and it's painful because in other casts we have disparaged this man. Allegedly, he is an asshole.
Thank you.
He's gonna thank
Billy
you.
Joel, who is a master lyricist.
Yes.
He is a great songwriter, but allegedly he is a dick. So that kind of sucks.
And
But-
you never met him though, so how do you know?
Allegedly.
Piano Man is one of my most favorite songs. The visions I get from that song, I'm in that bar. Like he just brings you into that bar, which I love.
And
I
the
love that song.
microphone smells like a beer.
Right.
Incredible.
I mean, just the
song.
descriptions, the piano sounds like a carnival, all that stuff. But my favorite profound line from that song is they're sharing a drink they call loneliness, but it's better than drinking.
Yes.
Alone. I mean, it just nails the,
Yes.
you guys work in that environment. People are in a bar for multiple reasons. Some people are just passing through. Some people are the everyday people. Some people are celebrating. Some people are depressed. There's life happens in a bar.
Yes.
And they're all sharing that drink they call loneliness, but it's better than drinking alone. It's being with friends and people and,
Could be one of the
I-
greatest
yeah.
songs of all time.
I love it. I love
Wait
that
a minute,
song. Right.
The
And
guy
it
from Giuseppe's wrote that song,
Yeah.
right?
Giovanni.
yeah.
Giovanni Verano, the last American Romeo.
Yeah. But I love it. I could do all the lyrics of that song. But
As
that
we,
was
I
one
think all
line that
four of
just
us could. Yeah.
hit number
Yes,
one
I
for me.
think most people have got those lyrics.
Yeah.
Pretty much tattooed in their brains.
Because everyone
about-
is fucking
Yeah.
incredible.
Oh,
Right,
absolutely.
right.
Absolutely. I guess the
Right.
story behind that was that he put out his first album and wasn't happy with the record company or whatever else. And he literally, I think, went out to California or something and got a job as a lounge act. Nobody really knew who he was. He'd had a little bit limited success with the first album, and that's where that came from. Is he had started up the ladder of being a successful musician and just kind of paused and sat down in a bar and started playing. And that's where he wrote that song. Yeah. And I don't think there's really anything such thing as a real estate novelist.
I know that. I was about to sing it, and then I was like, that can't be right.
Like, is it someone that just talks too much kind of thing? Like they're just like telling you too much information that you don't want to know, like you don't care about.
Sure
to be a bartender. To be a bartender.
Pretty much.
How many times do you just want? And that's very deep of him when you think about it, to sing those lyrics, because if you were not the musician and you were the bartender, the song would be called, "Will you just please shut the fuck up?"
right. I'm sure there's some profound, like, you're like, oh, that's interesting, but and then most times it's like, whatever.
Exactly.
Nod
But
your
I think
head.
to be a lyricist, I think you have to be able to pick those things up. You know what I mean? You have to be able to be like a sponge and observe and add those things in. And again, Billy's pretty damn good. Whether I want to hang out with him or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, he's a prick. But
Can he give me Christy Brinkley's phone number? Because I still would.
great pick, Dongo. All right, Kevin, we are off to you.
All right. This might be a little departure, but this is something that in today's world where everybody has an opinion and anybody that disagrees with said opinion is a fucking moron and knows nothing and you're stupid because you don't agree with me. I always think of Chris Christopherson, Jesus Was a Capricorn from 72. And the line is, because everybody's got to have somebody to look down on. Prove they can be better than at any time they please. Someone doing something dirty decent folks can frown on. And if you can't find nobody else, then help yourself to me. And that is just one of those lines. It's like, you know what? You're all so fucking wound up in thinking you're right.
Right.
So go ahead. Be right. Look down on me. You're better than me. Go ahead. Just go ahead. And that's just, I don't know. It's such a perfect kiss off to all the people that just think that their opinion is so much better than everybody else's, that their life is so much purer than anybody else's. Listen, we're all pretty damaged. And if you can't admit that to yourself, then
You think?
go ahead, shit on me.
Kevin, we could do a whole episode on this subject.
Pretty damaged, huh?
What's the name of the song again?
It's called Jesus Was a Capricorn, and the subtitle is Ode to John, not O-D-E, O-W-E-D, Ode to John Prine, which I now have to say that one of my favorite songwriters, and yet I did not have anything from him jump out at me as I was doing this, but certainly a man that deserves to be on any list talking about lyrics.
Yes. Great pick, Kev. The Highwaymen. He always makes me think of them.
Yeah.
That is to you, brother.
All right, my song is from John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band. I never knew the song before that. Did I say Beaver Brown Band right? Well, anyway, Eddie and the Cruisers, Eddie Lives is the first time I heard this song. And it's very personal to me for many reasons, or really only a couple reasons, all right? But the lyric is, I'm going to New York City, got to find out where I stand, and I'll be walking down Broadway with this guitar in my hand. And after hanging out with David's friends, I wanted to continue the white family musical tradition as being a musician. And I found out where I stand is in the musical unemployment line if I count on my brother's friends. So that's exactly where I'd be. And right now I'm I've been through some serious surgeries and I'm starting to play again. And screw them all. I'll play for Mark White. I'll record for whatever. Record for my own enjoyment.
That's what you need to be recording for, my brother. If you're not recording for you, then fuck them all.
Yeah, so they all made promises. Yeah. So one person was going to play drums for my
Mark,
my
everyone
songs.
in life, and I don't mean to cut you off, but everyone in life is our friend until that connection goes away. So when I say that, I mean it with all respect. For example, I'm not going to bring names up, but how often do you think those people are reaching out to me?
Never.
Exactly. That's because David, God rest his beautiful soul, is gone. That was the connection to them. That connection's gone. That's all.
Yeah, so I don't even. I mean, one of them texts me every once in a while. He doesn't even know about my knee. He asked about the shoulder a while ago, but before the knee thing.
Well,
but
that's
yeah,
a lot more than you'd get from most people, so you should enjoy that one.
Right.
Well, the man lives about 10, 15 minutes from here.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that it makes me emotional when I think about my guitar playing.
Good. Yeah.
Because I think I've written some pretty decent stuff that's not all that technical. Ingve, okay, I'm not going to try not to.
You said it right, Mark. You said it perfect.
Ingve Malmsteen or whatever.
You said the first name.
It was a German head shrinker by the name of Sigmund Freud.
But whatever.
It's Ingve
I'm not him.
Malmsteen.
Yes, I write some very tasteful music with some really, really nice lead guitar stuff. And this song really meant a lot to me. That line just goes right to my soul. So that's just what I had.
Perfect.
I'm curious though, just for clarification, when you guys just a moment ago were talking about Ingve Malmsteen, were you talking about Ingve J. Malmsteen or the other one?
The other guy.
The other one, okay, because I know he puts that on a lot of his music, Ingve J. Malmsteen.
I was going to say.
Not to be confused with.
Not to be confused with the other Ingve Malmsteen.
Here I go to my number one pick. And that's what I was going to lead off with. Right?
Kiss number one?
No. What I am about to say to you is I did not choose a Kiss lyric for this day.
Wow.
Shocked and amazed.
Yes. And this is going to be probably the most, or may I say, the least deep lyric of the day. All right? Because these are not Bob Dylan words, but this song just fucking meant something to me. So my number one is a song by Tesla called Getting Better. The very first line is fallen rain outside my window. And that's the one I was going to talk about earlier, where I always thought it said all the rain outside my window. Fallen rain outside my window, but I'll live on, I know. It's getting better every day. Soon the sun will shine through my window. When it's going to come, I really couldn't say. Oh, but I know it's getting better every day. Tesla album.
Great album. Oh, amazing.
In Hinsdale. I'm pretty sure it's 1987 release, which was right at the height of my misery there.
Right.
That's what I would fucking play it over and over, sitting in my bedroom like, please get me the fuck out of here. I am shot. It's so ironic because I have so many great memories about that area. But they were all like Dongo, your visits, fucking going down like through the woods to the Connecticut River. But
The luggage.
the actual life I lived there was such pure fucking misery. And to hear these words, it was like, I gotta have hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Da,
Mechanical,
da, 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 da.
yeah. Mechanical
I
Resonance
love it when
was
it kicks
released.
in, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Mechanical Resonance was released January 1st, 1986. But wow, those
well,
guys
pardon
were
me.
still, I mean, so many people that can't do it anymore, and those guys do it. I mean,
Fucking
for
real
Jeff
and
Keith
live.
to sing like he does and still
With those
pull it
teeth.
off, I mean, unbelievable. Hats off to him.
Yeah. Awesome, boys. That was a lot of fun. I think that this, like I said, should be able to go into a series. We can do separate genres. We'll figure it out down the line. But anyway, real quick, just before we head out, I just want to get a few things out there. Of course, please check out our website at www. Do I have to say that now? It is. I don't think so.
But
Anyway, check us out at pastimes at 80shigh.com. And please shoot us an email, which is pta80h@gmail.com. Please check out our Facebook page, and that is Pastimers at 80's High. You know, I'm hoping we can get some interaction going there. It's been awesome. We can't thank you all enough for the downloads, and thus far, all of the 5-star reviews, because that's all we've gotten. So that's nice to see. All right, Kev, thank you very much.
thank you, AJ. And I want the folks out there to remember not to forget that there's also Pastimes at 80's High Facebook page as well. They do connect.
Yes.
And if there was something that you know, a lyric that's special to you and you want to talk about it, throw it up there. Comment on one of the Facebook pages and get the conversation going.
Awesome. And to you, Dongo, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It was a great time. Thank you.
Awesome. Great times. And Brother Mark?
Yes, that was fun. I mean, a lot of emotion on this episode. And
Yes.
again, we could do this episode 100 times and
Yep.
not have any repeats.
And perhaps will, right? Awesome.
Yes, but
Could happen.
that was
Yes.
great fun, EJ. Thank you.
Yes. Well, I am AJ, and all of you out there, thank you so much for listening, and we are out.
'Cause everybody's gotta have somebody to look down on, who they can feel better than at any time they please. Someone doing something dirty, decent folks can frown on. You can't find nobody else and help yourself to me.